The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Rose Chen walked to the podium, her footsteps echoing against the crystalline walls. Around her, representatives from 47 different species shifted uncomfortably in their specialized seating arrangements. The Vextori clutched their breathing apparatus tighter. The Maltharian delegation actually took 3 steps back. Is the human ... upset? Whispered Counselor Zefter, his translator implant struggling with the concept. I cannot tell, replied his aide. Their facial expressions are so subtle. Rose placed her datapad on the podium with a gentle click that somehow sounded ominous. Behind her, Alex Morrison stood at attention in his Terran Defense Force uniform, his arms crossed, face imp. He'd been her security detail for 3 years, and he knew that particular set to her jaw. This wasn't going to end well. For someone, esteemed members of the council, Rose began, her voice perfectly calm and professional. I have reviewed your proposal regarding the Kepler-4 for to be crisis. The Orlithian High Chancellor cleared his throat. Yes, Ambassador. We believe it's a most reasonable solution. The human colony there is relatively small, only 50,000 individuals. Relocating them would prevent the territorial dispute with the Krill Empire, and no, Rose said simply. The word hung in the air like a neutron star. Ambassador, perhaps you don't understand the gravity. I understand perfectly. Chancellor Rose's smile didn't reach her eyes. You want us to abandon our colony because the Krill decided they want that system, despite our claim being filed 70 years before theirs. The Krill are a warrior race. The Vextari representative interjected nervously. They have 6 battle fleets. Humanity has, what, 3? The mathematics of survival dictate. Fine, Rose interrupted, her voice dropping to a conversational tone that made Alex straighten imperceptibly. I'll handle it. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Councillor Zefter hit his emergency beacon. The Maltharian delegation began rapidly evacuating. 3 species translators simultaneously issued warnings in their native languages. Somewhere in the observation gallery, a Cathar fainted. Ambassador Chen, please reconsider. The Chancellor's voice cracked. When humans say those words, historical records show. I'm aware of the historical records, Rose said calmly. I helped write several of them. 23 years ago, human colonists on New Provence had faced a similar ultimatum from the Skorothi Dominion. The colony leader, a farmer named Catherine Webb, had said those exact words during negotiations. 3 weeks later, the Skorothi flagship had crashed on their own home world after a computer virus of unprecedented sophistication somehow infiltrated their entire fleet network. The Skorothi still didn't know how humanity had penetrated their quantum-encrypted systems. The official human response had been, how unfortunate. We hope they investigate that security vulnerability. 15 years ago, when the Xanthari Collective tried to enforce a blockade around the human research station at Proxima Centauri, Station Commander Marcus Liu had spoken those same words. The blockade lasted for days before the Xanthari discovered that their impenetrable energy shields now had a curious habit of failing at random intervals, only around human ships, oddly enough. The Xanthari withdrew, claiming technical difficulties. Humanity's official statement, we hope they find better engineers. And then there was the incident with the Parian hierarchy 8 years ago. They'd attempted to claim mineral rights to an asteroid belt humanity was mining. Administrator Sarah Okonkwo had used those words. A week later, every Parian government network simultaneously displayed detailed information about each official's personal corruption. The resulting political upheaval toppled their entire leadership structure. Human response, transparency is important in government. Alex remembered each incident. He'd been a junior officer during the Parian affair, and he'd learned something important. When humans said fine, I'll handle it in that particular tone, it meant the gloves were coming off. Humanity wouldn't start a war, they never did, but they would absolutely finish the problem, usually in ways that left everyone wondering what had just happened. Ambassador, the Chancellor tried again, desperation creeping into his translated voice. Perhaps we could discuss alternative solutions. The Council could mediate, that would have been preferable. Yes, Rose agreed pleasantly. Before you suggested we abandon our people. Now she gathered her day. I'll handle it. As Rose turned to leave, Alex fell into step beside her. Behind them, chaos erupted in the council chamber. Emergency protocols activated. Several species embassies began evacuation procedures. The Galactic Defense Coordination Network issued an alert status update. Did they really think we'd just leave? Alex asked once they were in the corridor. They always do, Rose replied. They see 3 battle fleets and think we're weak. They don't understand that humans don't measure strength in ships. What do we measure it in? Rose smiled, and this time it was genuine. Spite, ingenuity, and the absolute refusal to be pushed around. Also, patience. They never expect patience. What's the play? I'm not entirely sure yet, she admitted. But the Krill Empire's economy is 73% dependent on trade routes that pass through neutral space. Their military logistics network relies on predictable shipping lanes. Their entire political structure is based on a rigid hierarchy that doesn't tolerate failure well. Alex nodded slowly. And you're going to find a way to disrupt all of that without firing a shot. I'm going to be creative, Rose corrected. Within the bounds of interstellar law. Of course, of course. They reached the human embassy's transport ship. As they boarded, Alex glanced back at the council building, where security lights were still flashing. He said. One day they'll learn not to back humans into corners. Rose settled into her seat and pulled up her communication console. Maybe, but today is not that day. She began typing rapidly. Contact Admiral Zhong, tell her to move the Third Fleet to the Kepler system. Defensive positions only, but make them visible. That'll provoke the Krill. That's the point. While they're watching our ships, they won't notice the other things. What other things? Rose's smile was positively wicked. Alex, how familiar are you with the Krill's atmospheric processing patterns? He thought for a moment, then his eyes widened. The ones they stole from the Harathi Corporation 50 years ago. The very same. I wonder what would happen if detailed evidence of that theft somehow reached the Harathi homeworld, and the Galactic Trade Commission, and every major news network in the galaxy. She paused. Simultaneously, at the exact moment the Krill fleet begins maneuvering toward Kepler 4 for to be. Alex laughed. You're going to start a diplomatic crisis. I'm going to reveal the truth, Rose corrected primly. If that causes a crisis, well, that's on them. As the ship lifted off, heading back toward human space, Rose sent one final message to the Galactic Council regarding the Kepler 4 to be situation. I'll handle it. Expect resolution within 30 days. No violence necessary. Ambassador Chun, in the Council chamber. That message caused 3 more species to initiate emergency protocols, because when humans said fine, I'll handle it, the galaxy had learned one absolute truth. The problem would be solved, just not in any way anyone expected. And that was exactly why humanity had earned their reputation.